at the same time, I feel if you're not going to push yourself, you're just going to be like stagnant where you're comfortable.
That's very important, buddy.
Yeah.
So you need to be uncomfortable.
I feel, so if there are people who come learn from me, the first thing I tell them, if you're comfortable, you're not going to progress.
Oh, bro.
You gotta be uncomfortable.
Amalgamation of 15 years of motorsporting experience in your pocket.
In the ballpark, yes.
What I want to know is how do you define your association with cars?
I would put it in very simple words. It was, all this was not planned. I went to Singapore I was basically doing racing over here. And my dad's like, yeah, what is all this? I was like, you racing too? And he's like, I've been in that field, so I know there's no future. There's nothing. Why you want to? So I was like, I like it. I mean, what's the problem? He's like, no, there's no future. So from his side, he wanted to send me to Singapore to study. He's like, go there, study. I was like, okay, I'll go there, study. So I went there and there was a karting track close by to where I was staying. So I would just go randomly save my money, and since I don't drink and smoke, so it was more easier for me to save also at the same time. A lot of people would just go party, and I was like, let me just save some money. I want to go buy a few more laps on the track. So I would, there were times when, so they had competitions like monthly, and they had like, categories. They had like 6-week competitions like endurance races, a lot of things. So I would just choose on what and where I want to take part, which is like on a more national level, which has more recognition. So I would save money for that. That also means that I would walk to my college, no taking the bus.
How far was your college?
It was about 3 odd kilometers. Not so far.
What were you studying in particular?
This was business management.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would walk to the college. I would walk back to the college. I would go to the Gurdwara very often to eat, because every meal saved was something. If in a week I was doing all my meals in the Gurdwara, so I was saving about $60 or $70, which would buy me like a new set of slicks, at least just the rares, which are more important. So that was there, and then karting started, and it picked up from there. Then I started realizing this is where I really want to be. Then I came back to India, and then this was not really planned. The minute I came back, I won a couple of races here, and then Mercedes called me to drive with them, and simultaneously I was driving for them and then doing my competitions, which were very low key, but I was doing them on and off. Yeah.
So in Singapore, you learned from the base. Like, were your basics already clear while you were in India, or what did Singapore give you, like in terms of?
It actually gave me a very, very good facility, and in terms of track, car, and let's say experience, it was very good. There were people coming around from Malaysia just to that particular track to drive on it. And then eventually there was a race team which picked me up in the last year of my college, and I was racing with them, and I was very consistent with them, and they liked me. So when you talk about basics, it's like seat time. Means the more you drive, the more you learn. You can't buy this. No instructor can come and tell you that this is good and this is not. He can probably tell you that this is the ABCD of it, but you need to do it yourself. Like, if you don't experience it, till you don't gather that muscle memory, you're not going to be a better person, better driver at the end of the day.
So there's no particular structure to getting into this. Like,
there is, as long as you know what you want. So there are different types of things. Like, there is track racing, there's off-road, then there are rallies. Now, whichever discipline you want, you need to, direct yourself there. But if you do everything together, all of them do give you a certain amount of experience, which will help you in the surrounding field. So, for example, rallies will help you, let's say, in car control a lot. And let's say if you do track racing, that'll help you in speed control a lot. Off-road will probably help you how to get out of a very, say, situation like you're in a ditch or something like that. So all those disciplines are interlinked, but at the same time, you also should know where you need to push and where you don't need to push. So, like for me, I'm basically, I would say I tried everything. The circuit racing got me from karting. Then I started rallying. Then I did off-roading. Then I'm doing racing on my ATVs. So for me, it's become like a big bag now. And it's become like a very heavy bag at the same time. So for me to do any sort of project, I don't feel like I'm new to it or I need to learn. Maybe obviously learning is obviously better. There's learning every day. But there, I feel like this is possible and let's just do it. I'm not on my back foot, to be honest, at this point right now.
So you've got a...
Let's say decent experience to do things. Yeah.
And then you came back to India, and then?
And then I came back to India and then I did a couple of autocrosses here. Then I won them.
Did what?
Autocross. So they're in a ground and there are...
Sorry for my lack of knowledge.
That's okay, no problem. So it'll be in a huge ground. Let's say you know this guy, Garcha, right? Shashi Garcha.
This way.
Yeah, sorry, this way. So he was, so he used to organize a lot of these back in the day. A lot of them. So the 17 ground where they have that Tibetan market.
Yeah.
So that huge ground they used to take up.
Dude, I remember this.
Yeah. So they used to do a lot of autocrosses there.
बहुत छोटे होते थे जब भी करवाते थे.
Yes.
Continue.
So this guy used to organize a lot of them over there, and a lot of people learn from him. He's let's say he's like the pinnacle of people learning things that this is the type of stuff we want to do. So he would organize them, and those autocrosses are basically point A to B the fastest, but on an enclosed road. There's no traffic. There's nobody allows.
Much
It'll be
more
all
controlled.
shut. Yes, it'll all be shut, and then you need to be you need to have basic knowledge. You just can't enter there. So you can't just pick up a car and say I need to be there, because you have safety norms to it, which are very important. Because you're at high speed, you could crash or you could hurt yourself. So there are, there are a lot of other things like cages, seatbelt, harness. There are a lot of things that have to be done before you can just get on there. Yeah. But there are other categories people do them without safety, which I feel should not be encouraged. But yeah, somebody's got to start somewhere.
What's your take on Garcha uncle?
He has been, he has been a highlight for a lot of people.
Because I know there's this undercurrent that this guy is something in the motorsport.
Yes. He's also one of those senior...
you could say the legends.
Yes, something like that. Yeah. So when Mr. Garcha was racing, at that same time when he was leaving, my dad started rallying. So once my dad left, a gentleman called Mr. Hari Singh came in. Also a great driver in his time, won 5-time championship. He's done the APRC, won that couple of times. I mean, he's been representing India like my dad at the same time. So when my dad left, he came in. A lot of people looked up to him. And now I've been working very close with him for about 9 to 10 years now. With Mr. Hari Singh.
Okay.
So, the relation besides work has developed in a way that I get to learn so much from him, that he's been, he's been like, this is like those times when you at a point you're like, what are you going to do now? And he will just come like, do this, did that, and you're done. So he's the kind of guy you can, more than anything, you gain so much from people's experience. Like, these are the kind of people you look up to, like, okay, we thought this was difficult and that's how it's done. So those are the kind of people, like Garcha is one of them. Like Mr. Hari Singh is there. Then there is a local boy called Sunny Sidhu. He was very good. Like, he's still very good. But he's been, families come in. So he's taken a side step.
Family?
So these are the, North guys who I can relate to, but they're a bunch load in the country. But yeah, but it doesn't go far because our, let's say, infrastructure says that, somebody who wants to do something, there'll be a lot of things holding him back. Parents will be like, nahi yaar, racing ka koi future nahi hai. Why do you want to do this? You don't realize that the sooner you start, the better it is. And, when I was in Singapore, I was like, dude, this country is like, I used to feel like this is like smaller than Chandigarh, and they have fucking everything. They have everything. Like, they have everything. Like, from infrastructure to security. And I'm like, what is wrong with these guys? How is it even possible? And so, like, it's just, when you start thinking in the other side, that's when you start realizing, boss, no, this is also possible, which a lot of people don't realize. Like, I'm just thankful my parents are good enough with all this. They're like, you do whatever you want. Don't just bother us. They're okay with it. They don't want to get married. Don't eat ahead. You want to do your thing. Go do whatever you want to. But, I feel that atmosphere like this can probably let people think rather than just putting restrictions on them on don't do this, don't do that. Now, for example, if I want to make a track over here to let people, practice and everything, I'll have to probably do 1,000 things just for the government to understand that, yeah, ye allowed hai. But they don't realize that this is also a sport. There are fast cars. There are, let's say, off-road cars. There are, with the power coming down, now you add Bharat Stage 6 to the cars and they become fast at the same time. They also become fuel economical. But then they're fast at the same time. Where do you drive them? You want somebody to buy like a decent car and you want them to do what? Like, where? He's not going to be on the street all the time. You can let somebody drive on the street. Like, you should make facilities. You want to make facilities for people.
That's a great point, huh?
Yeah, people want to make facilities to, skateboard and everything. Why not everything all together? Like, and then you expect people to, perform on the world level. When you don't give them anything, how do you expect them to do things?
So the catch is the infrastructure.
Very much.
So are you still, what's the status with the war between the whole red tape and of you getting things done? is the war still on? Like, are things getting better?
No, not at all. I've been trying to pull my strings everywhere just to get something from the government. Trying to understand that, boss, just at least give me some space somewhere so that, at least people who want to come and learn, let kids come and learn. Just basic, put up a karting track. That's all we ask for. And that can serve a purpose for a lot of things. Let people learn. Let people come down and understand what's going to happen. Let them come from here and then probably learn from all this. But not realizing that, a small infrastructure like this can it can have like a big boom. Like
Bill, rightly said, bro. Rightly
so
said.
they have to give them places, at least something.
Places build culture.
Yeah. And if they don't want to even do that, there's always a shortcut. Shut the parking off 6 to 10 in the night. Let them practice. Pack your shit up. Go back home. That's it. As it is, your office is shut by 5 to 6 stops. Give them that space. It's an open parking space. And they've got fencing and everything. Most of Chandigarh parkings have fencing all around them. Those big black ones. I've seen a couple of guys going with their cars into them. So I remember. But I'm just saying that they have fences. You can just put on a basic track. Let the government come say, okay, you guys do it. But a lot of things to deal with. So it's like a small. I'm to say the percentage of people who want to do this in the country is so less that they don't really care. An example like the F1, why is it not coming to India? They're charging 200% duty to the people, to the teams. They're like, why should we even pay that to the government? For what joy? What are we getting out of it? 200% duty. Those teams run, say, about 100 crore budgets. And on top of that, they're paying 200% duty. Mm-hmm. Which, if I was in that team and if I was to take decisions, dude, I don't want to do this race. Mm-hmm. That's why it's not in the country. F1 came for 3 years. That was also, last year was also disastrous. The facility really ruined. They still have the track. We go to the track, but is it maintained? Not at all. You go to the pits, there's grass. You go to the thing, the glass is dirty. There's so many bad things. So when I do all this in US, I'm like, we are, let's say, a lot of population. We can do a lot. We have so much infrastructure, which is so much better than all this. But do we do it? No.
Ab jaise, cars, technically, is a sort of a material possession to have.
Right.
And there's a sense of calm and peace surrounding, associated with long drives.
Right.
And there are books on spirituality which are centered around road trips.
Right.
What do you have to say about this hypocrisy of our society?
Those are very important. I feel they're very, very important. And a lot of people don't realize that just a 2-day trip can so much. It can actually flip your thinking. Your aggressiveness to in the city. It'll probably be like, I went on the highway, at least drove my car. It was nice weather, good view, everything, and I came back in the city. You're like, everywhere, and it's damn annoying. But if you don't give us proper roads, and they're going to be same potholes, and you're at about 80, and you see cattle crossing the road. And at the same time, you hit a pothole and you're parked on the side of the road. Aren't we all paying our taxes? Why can't we just get our basic amenities? Where's the problem in that? Don't we deserve it? That's what the entire world is doing. A lot of countries take care of their citizens. There are a lot of other ways they do, but why can't you just give us basics? Before an highway is made, there's a stupid ass toll which is going to be. There's no toll I've crossed which is not $70 these days. What are you getting out of it? Like what? It's a 5-year contract done. That's it. Finish it. That damn canal toll. I've been a kid. We've been paying forever. It's never gonna go. What are you trying to gain out of it? Where is it going? We want to share too. So yeah,
not a lot of people would make careers out of driving cars.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's for most people, it's a dream job to have a job like you.
Right.
So what are your tips for the future generation in this?
A lot of people ask me this question that we want to get into this, we want to learn. What is that you do? That we want to do the same thing. I feel it's not. Let's put driving aside. Let's just put it in a way. Let's put it in a simple way. If you're good at something and you know that you have that skill and you know that you will excel in this, do it. Don't hold yourself back just because the world's going to think this. My parents are going to think this. Well, if you want to do it, just do it. There's just one life. Where is the problem in trying? That's what I did. I was like, if I feel I'm good at this, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it 100%. And luckily, everything fell in place. So, if anybody who wants to try this, first step would be definitely go-karting, which is also the baby step for any sort of discipline in driving. Take it F1, rallies, anything. So go-karting is like let's say, it's the babyest step you can take. If you think you're good at it, you got to figure out what discipline you want to go from there. Like I know a few people who are good at circuit racing, but at go-karting, but when it comes to circuit racing, they're not, let's say, on the top how they were in go-karting, because when you get on to circuit racing, there's 1,000 things involved. So circuit racing at the same time, which also is racecraft, which like I said, you develop this muscle memory. This racecraft comes in with seat time. So you got to understand that when you're in a race, you need to know how much you need to push your car. You can't just all the laps be flat. Like you can't just go like all out, because your tires are going to give way, your fuel is going to give way, your engine's going to give way, you're heating things up. So you need to strategically place your, let's say, fastest laps or your best time into something like how you need to do about it. So it'll be at the same time, I think, somebody who really wants to learn, go-karting is the way to do it. And then probably they can think about what they want to do. But best is stay off the streets. Like,
how's the scene in South as compared to North?
Oh, it's very good. There are about 3 tracks. There's a 4th one coming up. In Coimbatore itself. The Coimbatore has 2 tracks now. There's one in Chennai. There's one going to be in Hyderabad. And they've been up and about. We have a good track. Sorry, there's one coming up in Bombay, also close to Lonavala. Then we have the both international circuit. But are they friendly to people? I wouldn't say 100%. You're paying about 7,500 rupees for 40 rupees, which I don't think is...
How much?
7,500 for 40 minutes.
Okay.
Which I don't think is like on a affordable side for people who want to do it daily. You probably would do it once in a month or twice in a month. I mean, as far as I remember, I don't go for track days so often just because it's slightly expensive for me. 75 for that, and then your car and everything going is easier. 20,000 weekend, like gone. Like, but if they understand that they're newcomers and they want them to, come, they would obviously want to try figure out something. Let them come in, let them drive. It's okay. Give them 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever they want to. But somebody's got to, you can't clap with one hand. It's got to be both ways. If the track wants to pay interest to people and invite them over and all this, it'll obviously be very helpful to them. Like, even if you want to take the parking, which is about 3 lakhs a day.
Parking in the sense?
Their parking is huge. Like, there are events happening in the parking, at the Bodh International Circuit track. So that parking is really huge, really, really. I mean, like, really huge. You could touch at least about 160 in the parking. It's that huge.
So basically, if you
don't want to go on the track, and if you want the others to just be outside on the parking and do like a small course.
That sense.
Yeah. Okay, that way is also they're a little expensive, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me something. What's your favorite or a fond memory related to your profession?
Oh, there are
your best experiences.
Bunch load of them.
Share karo yaar.
So the recent one would be in 2019 when we were in Leh doing some stuff with the Thar. So these cars, since the road shut about in October, November-ish. So the cars were sent before. They were parked there. Sorry. And 3 of us flew down to Leh, and we were supposed to do a couple of things and test the car out and a few things like that. So we had to do one of the passes. That day was a little crazy. We thought it'll be all good. So when you're doing all this, you have to plan. There is no snow, it's bright, or it's not rainy or something like that. So according to our plans, we planned that this is going to be like a nice, decent sunny day and not so windy also. We'll figure something out. So we went and it's about half an hour into the day, it started snowing. So like, it's just light snow. It's going to be okay. The sun is out. It'll just go away. 2 hours into drive, and nothing stopped. It actually started snowing more. Flakes became bigger and the wind started blowing faster, and suddenly the visibility dropped. We were like, it's okay, lights are on. I mean, no problem. Indian
phones cannot be wrong.
Yeah, Indian manufacturer, we'll still go for it. So we reached the pass. Pass was okay, we reached there. Once we came back down, that was crazy. My jackets were on and everything, and I went to Lou. I was like, okay, let me see what time is it. And I saw the time. I was like, no, this is just 11 in the morning. And I was like, let me see temperature. I was like, oh, damn. It was minus 38. I was like, oh shit, this is not going to go right. So while coming back down, we were at the same time we were like, we have to get down, because at that altitude, not everything works how you want it to. Like it's not like a daily situation for a car or a human at the same time. Plus high altitude, thin air. You're not
When
getting.
did you land before that moment?
Oh, at the pass or in Leh?
In Leh.
Oh, so we landed about 3 days before.
So you were acclimatized.
Yeah. That I make sure with anybody, whichever contract I'm doing high altitude, I want to acclimatize myself.
Yeah.
Because if it hits you wrong, I mean, you can be in the bed for really, really long. I mean, I don't want to risk that. So whoever I contract or whoever I deal with, I'm like, we need at least 2 days to acclimatize. So that way we were pretty sorted.
Yeah, so you were coming down, it was minus 38, you got that shock of, oh shit, it's just my...
Then it was, it's like, it's like you close your eyes and you see how it's black. This was how we would open our eyes and everything was white. Like white as like white. Like we were probably the only, the uncolored part of the road. So everything was white. And then when you have to go down like this, you don't know where the road is. And you don't know how, you don't know where the ditch is. You don't know where the stones are. You don't know which turn you got to take, because it's like flat white. And there are these glasses called polarized glasses with a yellow shade. They help you see. But they will also work to a limit where, where they're manufactured to. I mean, they will also define some parts of, edges or some ridges or something. But I think it was so white and flat that we could just not figure out what's happening. Oh, that half an hour trip back to the thing became like a 6-7 hour trip. It was, it was really bad.
How many people were you?
We were about 11 of us, 4 cars.
But I'm sure since you were test driving for the Thar team, you must be having all the...
Everything was there, but you see, at that point, you can't work. Your fingers are frozen. Every time you open your jacket, even if you want to remove your goggles, it's going to hit you so hard, you want to just shut it down.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it hits you really hard. The snow is okay. The wind is bad. The wind, once it hits you, is like, oh, you don't want that. The wind is probably really, really, really bad. That's what you need to avoid. Sure. But yeah, that was a crazy, crazy experience. One of the recent ones. But yeah, then there was another one, which was we drove from Guwahati all the way to Bangkok.
Wait a minute. From Guwahati to Bangkok.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. So that was again Mahindra. So
which car was this?
These are all Scorpios. All Scorpios. So what they had planned was that they'll be. So this was like a trip for them where they would let the customers also experience at a cost, which was their dealing. We don't have to do anything with them. So what they did was, say about their 10 people, they will drive down from Guwahati to Bangkok, and now these 10 people fly out. So the other 10 people come into Bangkok and they drive from Bangkok to Guwahati. So there were 2 groups basically. Before all this happened, so they gave us 3 cars and like, guys, go recce, come back and tell us where do you want us to stay, where do you want us to eat, what is the good things, go do all that. And so these 10 people, that group, so we had planned a trip for the stay and everything. So for the recce, we had to experiment a lot of things. From Guwahati to Bangkok, it'll probably take you 3.5-4 days to just cross and reach your destination. Like this is also not very easy. If somebody wants to push it, he can obviously do it faster.
It's just 3-4 days.
Yeah, just 3 days.
It seems longer.
Yeah. So we took about 11 days.
Because
because we were not going straight, we were going zigzag.
You wanted to also do the whole hospitality thing.
That was also, so there were times where we were just camping beside the river, getting tea there.
Slow down. So you started from Guwahati.
Yeah. So we started from Guwahati. One of our first nights were in Calais. That was, I think, the border over there. That documentation took a lot of time. And that wasted a lot of time. So we had to stay one of the nights unplanned over there. And then the border on the other side, I think it's called More. That's where we went to. Then we went to Yangon. That was 1 day drive. Then I remember we went to Yellowstone. That was another day's drive. We went to Sukhothai, which is the capital.
Yangon is Rangoon?
Rangoon. I mean, it's the same. I think it's called Yangon.
Acha, okay.
Yeah. So then we went there. Then Sukhothai, then Thailand, then a couple of things in back. So Myanmar, we spent a lot of time. There were about, I think, 3 or 4 nights we spent over there. So one, I would say in our 11-day trip, one day extra was counted just because we would get to the border town, and the next day the documentation would take so long that even if we wanted to go to like Guwahati or any other Imphal or something like that, we would have to detour our thing. Like if we would imagine, like if our documentation would take about 30 minutes, it would take about 2 hours, and our travel time would reduce. So we would have to look for a town before that. So in India, we spent about Kohima, Imphal, and Guwahati. That's how it was. Otherwise, from Imphal to Myanmar, you can probably do it in one day. Also, we had about 22 cars, so it becomes like a long trail. So somebody wants to do it individually, he has less cars, and I'm sure without a group it'll be easier. But yeah, that was one of those fun trips I really enjoyed. So do the recce was really, really mad. We would get up at 3 in the morning, and we wouldn't be in bed before 1 at night in the night. And everything was okay. But during night, that's it. The Myanmar is left-hand drive. So you're basically driving a right-hand drive car on the left-hand side of the road, which was really, really scary. Because if you had to overtake, here you can just put a half of the headlight of the car and you can see there's something else. Here you would have to put your entire self out and then come back in. And they're also, I would say, similar to us, only the roads are not so great unless you get on the major highways. But the border roads, a lot of them are maintained by India. A lot of them.
For Myanmar.
Yeah. So that was one of those fun trips which I really enjoyed. Like, it was part of the job. I was like, okay, this I get to do is good fun.
And did you actually feel the whole terrain change?
Oh yeah. When you get into Thailand, you feel like a drastic change. The highways are like fast. People are good. No, I won't say people are good. I mean, they must be, but
people are the same.
People are same, but they're manners. They're like discipline. They're like road manners.
Oh.
They won't just come behind you, get out of the way, but they will patiently stand there, wait, get out, do whatever you want. Just don't waste my time. So we would try and make sure that we do not bother anybody. So the entire convoy would park on one side if we had to lose somebody. So we would park, wait for that person, and then leave. But then we started realizing that we need to have like a trail car, and then things started becoming better. So during the recce time, it was a lot of fun, but it was very taxing, like very taxing. One, because everything changed, like your timings changed, food timings, because we were getting at 3 in the morning. And then by the time we would get on at dinner times were different. And then, your body cycle, your body clock goes into a different zone. And then you're driving the entire day. And then you got to make sure you got to make notes. So I was basically doing the mapping for it. So I had like 2-3 GPSs in front of me. And then I had, with those, I had, a layout. There's a system called the trip meter. It's also called a trippy. So we use that to mark places. And then I had to make notes. So everybody had their thing to do. So the route and the finance is what I was taking care of. So whatever was happening, then I had to get to places where I had to change dollars and everything. So they would not accept our currency at certain places. So we had to only deal with dollars. So then I later realized, I told myself, like, dude, why don't we just get dollars? It's easier for everybody. So US dollars is what we had to deal with everybody. It was just easier. But the gas stations did not have change, so they would pay us back in their currency. And then we had to make sure that we finish their currency before we get out of their country. So there was a lot of, little things which were fun also at the same time, but I kind of enjoyed that trip. That was really long. I mean, that became eventually like a 40-day trip because...
It did?
Yeah, because the first... the first group took about 11 days to come back. And the next... so the ones from Guwahati to Bangkok took 11. The ones who were coming back, they took 12 days to come back. That's how we had planned. But when we were doing the recce, so since we had to see so many places, and I would say in the recce, we did about double the amount of kilometers we did in our main trip because we had to see a lot of other places. So to see those places, we had to go zigzag all the way. And that took us like 14 days. So, and the event was in the same end of the month. So 14 days gone there, and then these 11 days, and then these 12 days. So a lot of planning had to be done. Like there was a lot of things had to be get going.
I'm
like
sure,
passports, photos, IDs. Oh, so I mean, it's difficult for one person to deal with all that.
Dude, if a person like me with a friend wants to do it, like just agar dil chahta hai wahi bhi karni hai, that would require so much of paperwork and documentation and brainstorming. You are doing, first of all, you're going with 22 other cars, and you are working for somebody who's asked you to make everything smooth for those many days.
Yeah.
So I completely understand the amount of
and at the same time, our team doesn't take complaints very happily. They're like, we want to work, but we don't want any complaints. So we will do a little extra every time so that nobody has a complaint and everybody's just.
That's a good attitude. So you choose your own team. Like I'm sure.
Yeah, there is a team of about 7 people. We've been doing events together for about 8-9 years.
That's great,
now.
man.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we've been 8-9 of us been together. And sadly, I've been the youngest in the group. So I get a lot of pushing from here, there, everywhere. But it's good fun.
That's why you're the youngest.
Yeah, so it's good fun too.
Yeah, so basically it's just also with I'm sure with your teammates, you have more than teammates, your friends, right?
Yeah.
So it's also just hanging out and exploring new places.
Yeah. And in my team, everybody drinks. So I'm the only one who doesn't drink.
I'm actually going to come to that later.
So when they drink, I'm like, okay, now is the time I can sit half an hour, then I'm going to bounce from here.
In fact, I'm going to ask you that question now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a teetotaler.
Yeah.
You've been a teetotaler throughout your life. Like when we'll come to that also.
Yeah.
Being a jut.
Yeah.
How do you manage to be a teetotaler and also
be in this field?
Be in this field of cars. Please.
So, with the drinking part, I was never fond of it, honestly. It never got me to an interest. Like, for example, there are 5 black things and there's one white thing. You're like, I want to see that white thing. For me, it was just black. It never showed any interest to me. I was like, good. You're doing whatever you had to. It's good. It's perfect. But I was never inclined towards it. And really long back when I was a kid, so my dad was in the army. He used to travel all over the country. And I was in Goa, and I remember I was a kid, and they had. So that was the first time one of the officers gave me like a small drink. They're like, "Ek sip leke dekho." It's tasting horrible. I don't want it. So if I get to go to Goa and I'm not on work, or for example, my work is over, then I'll probably get something to drink. I'm like, maybe I started here, so maybe why not just have 1 or 2 and then that's it. That's all my drinking is for a year. If I don't get to go, I don't want. It's not like hard and fast rule that I want to go there, but if I go there and if I have to, good. If I don't, also it's good. Like, it's not like one of those interests that attracts me too much towards it. And I mean,
so you don't refuse it. You keep away from it.
Yeah, I keep away from it. Somebody tells me today, tomorrow in the town, please have it. I'm like, dude, I don't want it. Like, I'm happy like this.
Dude, even I'm a teetotaler. But my friends are like all borderline. They're abusing me for not giving them the proper sangat that they want while the things are on. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you?
I feel what you go through.
है ना?
Yeah.
आप कैसे handle करते हो?
But I would probably like, let me be the DJ. I'll probably do something nice.
Like, you take other responsibilities.
Yeah, then I tell them, listen, you guys got to go home and I'm going to make sure you guys go home. So I'll drive you guys home.
I'm the perfect driver for you.
So I'm just going to be like, I'm just don't worry. You guys can have a bottle. I'll still drop you home or the hospital if you want.
Dude, my friends keep me there and the next day they'll call me up when they're hungover. They'll call me up. They'll ask me, इसने क्या क्या कहा, मैंने क्या क्या हरकतें करी. मतलब I'm the one who's taking notes of everything,
Right.
But ये है कि सूफी इंसान को फिर याद रहता है.
Yeah. So. And I mean, it's good for whoever does it. I mean, nothing against it.
Absolutely.
But I'm not fond of it. Like,
Same
it's
here.
good. Like, I'm not fond of it. If I have to, it has to be like a very, very rare occasion. Like, you know.
Same here.
It's good. If you do it, it's good. If it's good for you. If it's not good for you, it's not good
End
for you.
End of the day, you have to be happy with whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Same thing.
So coming back to, I won't put you in a rapid fire right now, but because it's going to be a bit of a trouble for you to choose.
Okay.
So I'm just making it simple for you.
Okay.
Let's just talk about off-roading as a field and then track racing as a field. Let's start from off-roading. What's the high in off-roading?
The off-roading events,
sorry to stop, because I have let's say amateurish way of saying it.
Right.
I had a SUV,
and
I used to take it to Nayagaon and all these river beds.
Right.
There is this thing of like, I wanted to do it. It had that high.
Yeah.
I just elaborate on that. On the perks of being an off-roader.
I'll tell you. I'll put it in very simple terms. Every day you go to office, right? For example, if every day you go to office, and then after 3 years, the office people tell you, okay, there's a field trip for you and you got to go do this, you'll be definitely more excited about it. Because on your daily, let's say, commute from city A to B, you get like smooth plain roads, like decent smooth plain roads. But when you get to a point where you see, you have like a good off-road and you're like, they always told me this is what it's capable of. Why don't I go try it since I already have it?
They always told me?
They will always tell you that, this is an SUV. It's a good off-roader. That's how they're sold. Like, I mean, they have their reasons, but most of the SUVs are sold like that. There's a good off-roader. It's capable. You can take it here. There. You're not going to get stuck. And there's always there in the back of your head, like, yes, somebody had told me about this. It's a good off-roader. And now I see like a decent riverbed. And it's like, it's not a highway. It's not like my daily thing. Why don't I just go see it? But where is the hump? Why not? Like, you bought something. And I mean, I would say if you buy a car and if you don't drive it, it's no good. It's just like wasting money. Like, I would say if you have a gun and if you don't go to the range, it's going to spoil itself just being laying there. So if you have a SUV and if you don't off-road, what's the point of it? I mean, just because you think you're sitting higher than everybody else. But I feel the lower you are, the better it is. In the city, at least. So, yeah, that's like, it's like, it suddenly becomes like a different terrain for you. And you're like, yeah, I want to try this.
It's
like, it's like, it's very simple. Like, and then when it gets getting difficult and your car takes you out of it and you start getting confidence. Yeah, let's go further. Let's go. I mean, it's easy. We thought it's going to be difficult, but it's decently easy. So, I mean, why not? I mean, absolutely. Anybody who has an SUV or probably wants an SUV, they should definitely try off-roading.
How do I learn this, bro? How do I, would YouTube help me
Yeah, I mean, absolutely no problem. As long as I'm in town and that's one of the things, a lot of people ask me, like, I've recently started drifting on a level where a lot of people don't do it. Like, I would go to the track just to drift. That's all. I just go there like, yes, I am here at my mental peace when I know no dog, no cow, no cattle, nobody's going to come and interrupt me. This is a track. This is what it's meant for. And I would take my car and that's what it's built for. So I would go there and I would just drift. That's all. Yes, I mean, tires are cheap, but yeah, I mean, it's not going to be like every month or probably every 6 months. It's like twice, thrice a year. Why not? And that's also in winters because summers, the cars take a lot of beating and I don't want to do that.
Dude, I envy you for this.
So then I just go to the track and do that and then just go do my drifting and come back. Similar ways, there are a lot of off-road tracks. Like there's one in Gurgaon, I think called Oraz or something. So you can get your car there and it's like completely shut off from the normal people. So when you're on the track, there'll be marshals. Marshals, like, people will help you, guide you. And then there'll be also safety at the same time, which is very important because, you're putting a car where it's not supposed to, where it won't be happy. And since you're not so experienced, there are chances of making a mistake. And if you get hurt and you don't get medical at the earliest, it's definitely going to, no, it's not going to be a good idea.
You reached the stage of getting medical attention also?
There is, yeah. I had 2016, 17, I had a really bad crash at the same time. It's part of the game.
This was while off-roading?
But this is on my ATV. So I just got my ATV. So I got my ATV from Dubai. I got there on my birthday. I was like, let me try a few of them out. And so I figured some out. The Indian customs are so cool. They kept my ATV for 8 months. Just because of one stupid reason, they said, ये तो इसके ऊपर ड्यून बाइक लिखा है. बाइक के 2 टायर होते हैं, आपके ATV पे 4 टायर कैसे हैं? I got out of the office. I'm like, which wall should I go bang my head on? How can you be so dumb? Like, where is this? I mean, I was like, how could you even think of such a stupid thing? Like, it says dune bike. That's what they call it over there. It's an ATV. You could call it an all-terrain vehicle. You can call it whatever it is. I mean, had I been forging documents or something or probably trying to cheat you would probably ask me a stupid question. But it's very up there, up front. This is the value of it. This is what I've been. And he's like, I can't clear this. I can't do this. 8 months it was lying there. So while it was lying there, they started charging me demurrage, which is the warehouse of the parts. And they were like, the demurrage was pretty high, about 6 lakhs. So on the whole, there's through racing, only one of the guys I know, he was a lawyer over there in Chennai itself. So he's like, don't worry, we'll figure this out. So so that thing went to the court then. So I was like, I'm not paying demurrage. This is not my mistake, to be honest. I mean, if you guys don't understand all this, just because you don't understand, why can't I import things? I'm like, where is the problem? I'm ready to pay the duty. Where is the problem? So with all that, after about 8 months, it came to me. And it came like, it's like when you buy a new toy, you're like, oh, yes.
So it came on your next birthday.
Oh, something like that. Something like that, you're right. Almost on my next birthday. Because my birthday's in October, so I went there, bought it, and that guy's like, okay, so the Yamaha people are going to give you a discount in Jan. They can give you a discount. So Yamaha has like their policy. Every new project, every new bike or a product which is going to come, it's going to be showcased in August. So when I went there, I was like, this is the new next year edition. He's like, yes. So he's like, but it'll be available after Jan. So I'm like, okay. So, I rather just wait for 2-3 months and then get a better model. So I paid that guy in Jan, bought that bike. It came to India in March and it's been lying with the customs on December 30th is when I got it at my house. So then just with all the setup and everything, one of those days and everything done. So I was at this track.
Where was this?
This was in Delhi itself. Again, that off-road track. So then I was doing some suspension setting because there's a term called sag. So sag is when your vehicle is standing and then you sit on it, the suspension will open and close. That open and close has a free plane. That free plane is called sag. So you got to adjust it according to your body weight and a couple of things how you ride. So we were adjusting the sag and the couple of things we were doing with it. Just during all that, I crashed, it flipped and stuff like that. And my shoulder got hurt and I was again off for about 6 or 8 months and I had to be operated and stuff like that. So, but it came back. But my point is that they had very good medical facility right then and there. The second I crashed, before all the 4 wheels left the ground, the ambulance lights were already on. They were ready to come to me. So my point is that if you do it, if you want to mess around, if you don't have medical facility,
you got a point.
Yeah, maybe this could have gone, maybe it won't have gone worse, maybe it could have. But is it worth taking a chance?
No, but immediate medical attention is always
better, yeah. So I got on the ATV, got to the track, got parked it on my trailer. I'm like, dude, why is my shoulder popping out? What the hell's wrong with it? And then that doctor's like, just take your gear off, take your helmet off, take your boots off, sit there, we're going to do something to it. So then he's like, you haven't dislocated it. You just extended your tendon. That he did not realize then, but he's like, you haven't dislocated it. But since it's popping up, there's something to do with, there's more serious that this ambulance can help handle. Put me in an ambulance, took me to the hospital, they pulled out a few x-rays. In about half an hour, I got the report that the tendon's basically extended. Boxes have it like in a normal thing. It's called a tier 1, 2, and they're normal with boxes. But mine was about 4. Which needed medical attention. So then I called my doctor here and he's like, just come back, we'll do something about it. So he's like, give it about 30 days, it might just relax down and it'll be, though I think that was a bad decision. Shouldn't have given it 30 days because life was tough then. Because I couldn't sleep like this, I couldn't eat like this, it was tight like this. And everything was bad. Like your hand being like this, and then your elbow would become numb. Every time you would move it, this would hurt.
So this happened because of your lack of
let's say we were trying to experiment things, trying to get there to get better. Which
with your physio?
No, with the ATV. So sorry, I didn't get what you're trying to say.
I'm asking why were you having so much problem with your shoulder?
Like, that's what the ATV crash.
No, I know.
Yeah,
but you basically didn't go for proper medical attention.
No, I did. So the doctor over here, in the home doctor, he said that this is a tear where we will operate somebody who's got a tear 5 or 6. So he's like, you're tear 4. So he's like, this is not on the borderline to operate. He's like, if you feel uncomfortable in 10-15 days, come back, we'll figure it out. He's like, at least give it 3 weeks for the thing to heal.
Okay.
That was a bad decision. Should just got operated then and there only.
So that's how you learn.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I mean, it teaches you a lot.
Dude, whenever I get a little bit of something related to my bones, I immediately show my physio.
Yeah.
Because in India, a lot of people are in the habit of just sleeping with these problems.
Ho jayega, theek ho jayega. Just sleep over it. Have a painkiller. But the second thing, I don't like medicines. I don't take medicines at all.
Same.
Yeah, even during my operation, with the shoulder operation, that woman came. He's like, Michael, what are you? She was trying to give me an IV in my medicine. He's like, this is what we give. I was like, what is it? She's like, painkiller. I'm like, I don't want it. She's like, Arey, doctor ne bola. I was like, I don't want it. I mean, I don't want a painkiller. It's just going to be slightly painful and then I'll deal with it. But I don't want chemical in my body. So, doctors, are you sure you don't want it? I was like, no, I don't want it. He's like, as long as you're okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Dude, अगर आप hospital में admitted थे आप तब,
yeah,
तब भी आपकी ये, you were holding that flag of no medicines.
Yeah. Because you see, a painkiller, I feel a painkiller is just going to fool your brain. The pain is still going to be there. Not like it's going to heal you faster. So I was like, why do you want to put that chemical and fool your brain?
So
just let it heal. I mean,
do it the hard way.
Yeah, just natural process is going to take its course of time. I mean, it's just going to do it like it's going to do it.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So that's the world of off-roading where
that's the dark side of it.
But I'm sure it was worth it.
Yeah,
whatever it is, you become strong. You're a stronger person today.
Absolutely. I have no regrets of it. I have no sort of second thoughts of why and what happened. I mean, it's part of the game.
Bhai, मैदान में चोटें लगी हो गया.
It's part of the game. I mean, if that won't happen, you're not going to learn. At the same time, I feel if you're not going to push yourself, you're just going to be like stagnant where you're comfortable.
That's very important, buddy. Yeah. So you need to be uncomfortable.
I feel so. If there are people who come learn from me, the first thing I tell them, if you're comfortable, you're not going to progress.
Oh, bro.
You gotta be uncomfortable, and that's where you're making progress.
So let's just take that in terms of your profession.
Yeah.
You have reached a stage where I can say you're completely comfortable.
No, there are times when I drive, I'm like, dude, that was damn close. And if I don't have that expression, I'm like, what a waste of time.
No, that's important. I'm trying to learn that.
And sometimes, I have a passengers with me. Sometimes they're always harnessed and everything. And, they'll be like, yo, that was damn cool. That was damn nice. He was on limit. I was like, ask me, man. I was shitting bricks. I was like, that was good, but yeah. That was close, like really close. So recently in my, one of my sponsors, JK Tyres, so I had the stunt team, the stunt division. So in the stunt division, there was a guy called Terry Grant. He's about 80 Guinness record holder, something like that. I'm not too sure.
Is this guy from Germany?
Is this guy from UK?
Okay.
Short guy, but talented guy. So he came down to one of our events and he put the car on 2 wheels. And I told my team, like, this was possible long back. Why are we calling this guy here? So they were like, no, let's learn. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So that project got sideswiped because we had a couple of other things going on. So I was like, dude, can you guys prepare a car for me that I can do this with? They're like, the car is there. Everything is there. What do you think is, I mean, you can do it. So every time, I would go to Coimbatore for one of the national racing rounds, and that's where in the lunchtime we do stunts and stuff like that. So at the same time, I would be like, can I try this? Can I? He's like, no. So since they are elder people to me, I mean, I don't get an argument with them. But they're like, chalo agli baar. And one of those weekends, I was like, dude, I'm not doing anything. So one of these weekends, one of the race weekends, I'll always get there on Thursday. So I was like, let me just get there 2 days early and the main motive was to go learn this. So they thought, okay, he'll be like, hey, kya nahi ho sakta, we can't do this.
Acclimatize hoega ye.
Yeah, ye abhi jaake dekhega hi kya hoga. Monday, I had a terrible time. The car was getting onto the ramp. So when we put it on 2 wheels, you got to put it on the ramp. So when I was getting on the ramp, it would...
Ek minute.
Yeah.
Where did the ramp come from?
So that everything was ready. So
you're basically supposed to take it to a ramp.
Yes.
And that is where you...
Yes. That's where it tips onto the other side.
Continue.
And then you basically maintain your balance.
Yeah, continues.
Yeah. So that went on. So they were like, nahi, abhi nahi try karenge, abhi ruko. I was like, dude, why are we waiting for... I feel, what I feel, my thing is that what you're doing right now, if you're not productive, you're just wasting time.
Not
productive? You're wasting time. If you're not learning, you're just like... At least at work. I mean, at least where I'm pushing myself to, if you're not making use of that time. If I'm on the track and if I'm not doing a lot of things, then I'm just wasting time. So then
that's an amazing attitude, by the way.
So then I told these guys, listen, let me just make use of it. I'm here for 2 days. They're like, they didn't take me seriously. So Monday I got there and I had a tough time, like real time. Because, it was like a new field, like no R&D done. I was not able to speak to Terry. You wanted to mess around with it, go do it yourself. Being stubborn, me, I was like, ye to main karunga, jo marzi ho jaye. So Monday I couldn't do much. Tuesday started raining. Wednesday is when I got some time on it. And so we had a training wheel on the side so that the car doesn't flip onto the other side. We also have a roll cage for the safety. So that roll cage is it's like a triangle to the side of the car and has a small auto tire on it so that if you go too much onto that angle and it just holds you, it doesn't damage the car. And it's removable. So that on Wednesdays when I was like, I'm going to go to the track early, start all this sort of. So the tire guys came in and the track was on. So there were people doing their practice also. So I told them, can you guys give me half and half every session? So they have a session of 20-25 minutes. So after 25 minutes, I'll tell them, please give me 10 minutes. They're like, go, no problem. So because I had to put a ramp, so I can't be with them. They're also very fast cars at the same time. So my car's damn slow with the stunt car. So then at the same time, I would, go take on the ramp down, take on the ramp down, take on the ramp down. By about 3 o'clock is when I, went off the ramp. I did not touch the wheel on the side, and I carried on for say about 30 feet easily. And then I realized, this is so damn simple. Why is everybody making a big fuss out of it? Like, it looks very difficult. It was like, damn, the car's on two wheels. What are you gonna do? What? But so then I taught 4 more people. So what I tell them is, don't look at what you're doing. Understand the fact that this car is going to go there. If you go fast or if you go really slow, it's going to be dangerous. It's like how you start riding a bicycle, and if you go really fast, your handle goes like this. And if you go really slow, your handle again goes like this. You have to have that right momentum for it to have balance and then continue straight. So explaining all this to them, they were like, "Tu kar liya hai?" I go, "Yes, I've done it." Okay, they're like, "Show us." So on Thursday, they all came. So Friday, I showed to them. I didn't touch the wheel. I have a video of this guy's on the scooter at the track and following me. And I took like half a turn and I put the car down. They're like, they were like,
it's recorded on video?
Yes, they were zapped.
You won't mind sharing that?
Yeah, I'll send you. So they were zapped. They were like,
this was the second try, right?
This was the second day. So that first day I had a couple of runs, but those were like, those are R&D runs. What is best? What is not best? What are you going to do? How is it? What gear do I be in? What handbrake? What steering angle? And all that. There were a lot of things going on. So the second day, these guys came in. They saw but the training wheel is on. I'm like, yeah, that'll be on. That's no problem. So, how you have like a fancy friend and he becomes the bonfire of the group. So that's what happened with me over the weekend. So everybody like, hey, isko dekh kya kar raha hai? Isko dekh. So like, ek bar fir kar de. Ek bar fir kar de. It became practice for me. And then my muscle memory had it was like, oh, let's go. I know what this is. So by Saturday, I was taking off the ramp, going there, doing the entire thing, coming down without touching the tire, the support tire. On Sunday, or generally on the race weekends, on the Sunday, we have a first half and a second half. Between these two, there's a lunchtime. There's lunchtime is basically 20-30 minutes where we do a couple of stunts because there's a lot of crowd. Like there'll be like 1,000 people, 500 people, something like that gathering. So we will do stunts for them, like just parallel parking, donuts, and 360 basic stunts for them. So then one of the senior guys like, two-wheel bhi karenge. I'm like, where did this come from? He's like, nahi kar lega tu kya hai? I'm like, I have not taken off from the support wheel, and this is all with the support wheel. So Sunday morning, he's like, we'll do the two wheel, and everybody will do donuts around you, no problem. I'm like, बेइज्जती होगी तो 1000 लोगों के सामने something happens.
इस वाली में wheel
होना नहीं है. Sunday को नहीं होना है because it's like because it's in front of a lot of people. You can't have the wheel.
Okay.
So we're like, I was like, and this call was given to me just like half an hour before the stunt show, and that time my nerves were like, damn, this is good. You can't mess this up, son. You better be at your A game. I was like, shit. So Sunday morning, by the time I got up in the morning, I was like, I'm feeling like all bossy about it. Everybody's going to look at me, and I'm doing the two wheel with the support wheel, no problem. So just 1 hour before the stunt show, one of the guys like, if you take out the stunt two wheel and you do it. I was like, okay. So I go up to the ramp, and just when I'm about to hit the ramp, I divert and I don't take the ramp. And so then just since I don't do it, so, that also drops the excitement of people. They're trying to understand the ramp hai to gaadi jayegi. So I don't know why I took a right. I did not take the ramp, but took a 180, came back and did like a small burnout over there. I came back and then I pumped up the crowd. Yeah, and I came back. And like a boss, I took it and it just luckily went straight without the thing there. So all the people who learned the two wheel, so their support wheel came off in a spot where there was nobody. There was 5-10 people, just the staff. My support wheel came out in front of 1,000 people who were watching, and I could not mess that up. Oh, that day was like, Oh, that day was like, my God, dude. And I still realize like, what the hell just happened? But then I'm like, if I was doing with the support wheel, I would have been comfortable. And if I'm comfortable, that means like stagnated. So it just everything just fell in place, and I was like, dude, this is fun. So just when it came out, I was like, good fun.
So the first time you didn't do it because you wanted to build it up for the crowd.
Yeah,
that was the reason.
Yes. So I went there, and I didn't. By the time I was approaching the ramp, that was not my plan. Just about 5 feet before the ramp, I don't know why I took a right. I mean, when I got there, but I had no idea that this is what I'm gonna do. But just when I got there, I'm like, dup, I take a right. I was like, what do you do? Kuch nahi, crowd ko buy karo, wapas aa jao, let's do it again.
Oh wow, man.
So that was
no, I understand.
That was good fun. It was good. So in one of this time, so all this R&D also, there was just one of the guys who was learning. So we told them that this is what is you gotta be first gear and everything, and all of the R&D. We also realized that the car has to be at least half tank and above, otherwise it doesn't get fuel, because you're tilted so much that it goes.
So the fuel helps in balancing.
No. The car won't get fuel if you're not over half tank.
Oh, okay.
So it tilts to one side,
that's
and
common
becomes
sense.
It becomes like that, and then there's a pocket which is empty.
That's common sense.
So one of those guys, so he wanted to practice, and I did not have a detailed conversation with him, and he went out. The car had like 2 bars of fuel only. So he went there, and in the middle of the track, the car shut off, and he was on the support wheel. So his car is like this, and he's on the support wheel, hanging there. He's reading us, "Yeah, fuel la do, please. Abhi fuel nahi." I'm like, dude, if we get fuel, how do you think we'll put it inside your car? Because the fuel tank is on this side. So we got 5. So just because to get him, so now at this point in time, he can't even get out because he's in a very awkward position. So when I sit in the car on the 2 wheels,
do you have a picture for that? Of that?
The 2 wheels?
The guy who's stuck over there.
I'll have to dig through. I might have it. I might have it. So when we are doing 2 wheels, we are on such an aggressive angle that half my butt is on the door and half is on the seat. So basically, I'm sitting like this on it. It's not like proper straight sitting. So like in a car, we straight, because when it comes to that angle, then I'm straight. So otherwise, my sitting position becomes this. Then this is like normal. So half on the door and half on the seat.
So then what happened?
So then he had to be there for like 30-40 minutes till the fuel came. So after that, we got in about 15 people and we started pushing the car. So we told him that once you get to about 30 kilometers, that's when you slowly start dropping it down. Because if you immediately throw it like this, it's coming down for over about 6-8 feet. And if it lands at over 6-8 feet, you're going to damage the suspension. So we had to push him to get him to a point where he gets like decent momentum, and then he can like just slowly glide down. But it was one of those hilarious moments that this guy was just hung there, and we could see him because of the windscreen, and he's just sitting there and doing the thing. And he's like, "Yaar, meri tabiyat kharab hai." Like, dude, who asked you to go?
He was your colleague?
Yeah.
Achha. But I'm sure, Sanam, this thing really requires skill. You're just trying to be humble over here. Of saying it out that it's simple. I'm sure it requires a lot of technical feat.
Yes, you have
I'm
to.
Sure.
I would say you need to know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to hurt yourself. You have to have the basic knowledge of things. Like for me also, when I build my drift car, I do everything at my home. Like I have tools and everything on my home. Everything on my own. Everything. There's only thing I lack in is remapping a car or tuning a car. For that, I don't trust anybody in the country. This guy I deal with in Thailand, he can do a remote tune. So you log into my computer, and then he's in on his computer, and then he will basically check the AFR. AFR is like a air fuel ratio mixture. That means how much humidity you have versus the fuel that is going into the car. So he will tune it accordingly. Like I get my car tuned in winters and in summers because both are different. So he will tune it according to that. And with all that, besides everything mechanical work I do on my own, like service, oil change, basic stuff like that, everything. Like even if I have to change bushing, subframes, arms, and everything. So it's like if you learn it, it's better for you.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, you will know more. For example, if you damage something on the car, you will know how much is the damage and how much is it going to really damage your things. And can you like go for another lap or not? So you would, since you already have that knowledge, you're going to probably, you're probably going to make the most of it.
It's understanding the medium.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Proper understanding of the surroundings, in the sense of like in this case, the machine, basically.
Yeah. The more you understand, the more you gain knowledge about it, the better it is.
And if I'm not wrong, the more you connect with it.
Yes, that is very important.
है ना?
That's very important.
इन सब चीजों को करने के बाद, when you've handled all the intricate things in that, this is this,
yes,
whatever the technical aspects of the thing is, you connect to that thing more because of the care and effort that has gone into it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I was to take my car on the track, for 3 laps, I'll drive it like it's stolen. But the 4th lap is going to be a cool down lap. Because I know if I push more than this, it's not going to break, but it's going to hurt something, which I don't want. What's the rush? If you get like 10 laps and you cool your car down for about 2 laps, where's the harm in that?
Like a person like me who doesn't know jack shit about all these things would just rep it up for the 4th and the 5th lap also.
Yeah. Because
that is where the maturity comes in.
Yeah,
the understanding
because your brakes will go away, your tires will go away. There's a temperature where both of them perform at. You push it beyond that, you're going to lose it. There's so many incidents on the track. We've seen Lambos and Maseratis go into the barrier because the people keep pushing it, and the brakes will eventually give away.
Whatever machine it may be.
Yeah, whatever it is. Because end of the day, it is certain material which has its limitations. And if you're trying to push it to that level, then it becomes like you're just trying to play with your luck.
यार एक लौंडा वाला सवाल पूछ लो सनम, ये आप आए हो यहाँ पे, we got this opportunity. एक बार just give us a small a gist of a tutorial on how to drift.
Oh, there's a lot of people ask me this question कि मेरे को आप बताओगे drift कैसे करना है?
नहीं, seriously.
You know what I think drifting is all about is between grip and the power of the car. If you combine these two, then you know what you're doing. And once you start doing this, then you know what I tell my kids is it's your butt muscle which knows what you need to do. If it feels it's going too much, then you're losing it. If it's too less, you're not doing it. But in simple ways, go to an open parking lot where there's nobody, go slightly faster, pull the handbrake, turn the steering. That's about it.
That's so simple.
Yeah.
यही तो मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ.
But it's the steering turns about, let's say, 360 degrees. But you should know how many degrees you need to turn it.
Now, I'll share one of my experiences with you.
Yeah.
थोड़ा सा funny element भी होना चाहिए. With the same understanding, I had taken my Tata Safari once to a ground.
Right.
Okay, this was right opposite Haryana Chief Minister's house.
Right, that's one of the places where I used to go to a lot.
Yeah. So you must have seen a white Safari drifting.
Okay.
So, bro, I sat in the car and I was completely oblivious of this fact that I'm driving an SUV and I'm trying to drift on an SUV.
Right.
That is BS, end of the day. Dude, I tried to drift with, I think I had my friends also with me.
Right.
Okay, I was maybe showing off and I drifted.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing, for the first 2 seconds, it was that feeling.
Yeah.
And then the tire came off.
Oh, shit.
Dude, the tire came off.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. And then everybody is okay?
फिर बड़ा दिखाया था वहाँ पे चॉप्सी. Everybody was fine, but that's why I was wanting to ask you the technical aspect.
If you have too much, if you have less tire pressure in your tire, and tire is rubber, is very, very flexible. And if you turn, for example, if you're taking a left turn, the driver's side tire will have a lot of stress. Reason being, because that's also trying to make the car turn. Besides the other 3 wheels, that's the one which is the most stressed out. So since it is rubber, and if it's low tire pressure and the rim is metal, the rubber is going to flex, but the mechanical part of the car, which is the rim and the other things, are trying to make it turn. But the rubber flexes, and since you turn so hard, it pops off the rim. So that's also, like I said, you need to have like at least like people who have like slight knowledge about things, they will probably do it in a different way. But
they won't probably take an SUV to this.
To start with, yes. Yeah. But SUVs are fun too. I mean, in sand and all, they're like a lot of fun. Yeah. I was shooting for Endeavor once, and then this guy from Bombay itself, he had a very, very old LC Land Cruiser. And he's like, my dad has kept it. He's like, this, that. He's like, it's the best and everything. I'm like, I'm sure it's the best. He sat with me. He's like, can my LC do it? I'm like, dude, that is like the pinnacle of SUVs. That's where everybody looks up to. That's not even a question. That's not even a valid thought that you should have in your head. If an LC can do it, nothing can do it. So I'm just saying this is like a very new gen car, which is the Endeavor. This is what it's looking up to the LC. And if you think your LC is not capable, you don't know your car. So he was damn amazed with what the Endeavor could do. I was like, dude, just multiply this by 2 times and that's what your car can do. So he was pretty sad. He was like, I was like, good luck. Just hope you're safe.
What did you do with the record that you broke with Tata, 50,000 kilometers? Just elaborate on that.
So that was in Aurangabad. Aurangabad. Ahmednagar. One of these places. Sorry, I'm not sure. I think it's Ahmednagar. They have an army facility testing over there. They test their trucks and stuff like that. So there was like an oval ring, just how like NASCAR tracks are. No, this was full concrete. So we had 4 cars. I think it was the Indica, the Vista, the Tiago, and Bolt. I think I'm not too sure. So there were 4 cars, and it was there were a group of 42 drivers, and it was divided into 2 shifts. So the morning drivers would come from 10 to night 10, and the others would come from night 10 to morning 10. At the same time, I was taking care of the night shift, and I would have my 4 drivers go in, and every 2 hours, 45 minutes, we would do a fuel change and a driver change, because at night it's that, with the most sleepy mode, especially from that 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock time. So I would have my drivers change. I would have them come in early, and then but when they were on the track, they were at 160 constant 160,
including you.
Yeah. Dude. I would sometimes not go for a session. I would sometimes go for 3 sessions back to back at the same time. But it was more than anything else, it was becoming monotonous because we had banks.
Like, how are you feeling when you were the extreme of your endurance?
So that time, only thing that would keep you alive was music, and then we had radios in our cars. So walkie-talkies, something like that. So we had radios with base antennas and everything. They don't lose signal at all. So we would talk to each other and to a lot of people who were at the base. So we had a team which was dedicated just to keep these guys up and about, whoever was driving at the graveyard shift. So those guys would just crack stupid jokes. So we had a safety car, the Safari, given by Tata itself. So we would park it in odd places just to check here, there, everything's okay. And just to check on the drivers, we would drive up fast behind the driver, check with him, blink lights, give him a thumbs up, everything. But it was non-stop. It was like non-stop. You would get out of the pits, 160, 5th gear, stay there.
How was the experience physically?
Oh, it was
meditative.
It was very taxing for initial 2-3 days. But once you start getting used to it, like, yaar, ye to karna hai, to karna. That's it. Then it's like a mission. There is no backing out. It's like once you have it in your head, you want to do it, period. There is no, there's no looking back. You can't do it. There's no quitting. The only problem we had initial days was that track was concrete. It had banks like these. And the top part was not used because they had trucks, army had trucks and all going on them. So those banks were fresh. So they had loose gravel on it. So we had a lot of windshield chips. So that was one thing that we had to deal with. Rest was fueling and tire change and driver change, which was damn easy. The only problem was the, chips. Those were, because some would become really, really bad. Like they would become bad like this, immediate. Like it would hit you and it would be like shatter right then and there. But besides that, it was, it was good. It was a good, fun project actually. Yeah.
Ek baat batao, what is Sanam Sekhon apart from cars?
Very chilled out. Very, very lazy. Very lazy. You would either find me under my car or in my bedroom or at work, obviously. That's it. That's the only thing.
Under your car, you're basically fixing it?
Yeah. There's always room for improvement. there's always like, ye bhi try kare, wo bhi try kare, let's do this, let's do that, let's do try figure out something, let's try that. There's 1,000 settings in your suspension which you can figure out, which we haven't probably even touched. There's camber, there's caster, there's toe, there is alignment, there's so much. So in my drift car, I run my wheels like this, because most of the time they're like this, they're not straight. But on a daily car, if you run them like this, they will wear out and make a lot of noise. But with a lot of, let's say messing around and trying new things, I figured this is the best setting for the car. I mean, because I don't drive it daily on the street as well. So this is like toe out and it's perfect. Like it runs, it actually gives me better cornering grip. So I was like, why not?
So that's your find?
I wouldn't say it's my find, but it's a comfort where I have come to like, this is how it's got to be. I'm sure there are a lot of people who run
the way you like it.
Yes, there are a lot of people I'm sure who run it like this or probably like this. But this is where I figured, okay, this is how it's, when you're drifting, this is how it's going to be better for me. So, there's always improvement. Then I want to try and figure out my suspension. It's hard, soft, increase the height, decrease, move it front, back.
There's so much depth involved.
Yeah, it's like a full-time thing.
Wow.
If I go to US where my brother stays, I was racing Canada also. So if I go to US or something, if I come back with 2 bags, I'll probably only have 2 shirts of mine in that. Rest will be all car parts, everything. My mom's like, you're okay? I'm like, okay. She's like, you want to shop? I'm like, I did. She's like, you're dumb. I was like, thank you.
It's the same with me. Whenever I'm going out to a wonderland where I could buy all these stuffs related to music,
right?
I would rather my suitcase would be full of all these things.
It's like, it's like people think you're wasting time, money. I was like, dude, when this gives you happiness, there is nothing beyond it. There is no money, there is no time seeing all this. It just gives you happiness. That's it.
Sahi baat hai, yaar.
It gives you joy.
Yeah.
If you sleep peacefully at night thinking, oh damn, my dream was about that car, oh my god, I'm going to do this, like, you're a happy person, I feel, end of the day.
Exactly.
But if you're lost, like, shit, yeah, kal kisi ne kya bola, dost ne kya bola, like, what the hell is a small life, dude? What do you fucking feel like? I mean, you just can't be sitting there and thinking about all this trash.
नहीं, अगर ये सब चीजें आप सोच रहे होते तो आप ये कर ना रहे होते.
Exactly.
सनम जी, आप ये भी देखो.
Exactly.
But मैंने देखा है कि we used to go to a common tuition when we were in school. There was only one kid in the class who would wear these all bright colored t-shirts, and वो अभी भी चल रहा है.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is from the ladies section, by the way. This was on sale because this was XL, and there was not, I mean, there were hardly any women who wanted to buy this. I was like, well, buy it happily, no problem.
Nice, man. I've learned so much. There's so many the terms that you use today.
Yeah.
मतलब I need to sit and do research on them. मतलब मैंने तब पूछा नहीं, but there's so many keywords. That's nice, man. Yeah. That's the way things should be.
Recently, I've started thinking that I need to start, getting this to a next level. So I'm going to be, in US, to import a car is very easy. But
to import a car in US is easy.
Yes, it's very easy. They don't have custom. They are not strict like us. And they were like, as long as you keep it on the trailer, we don't have a problem. Put on the trailer, take it to the track, do whatever you want. It's up to you.
Yeah.
So recently, I got a car from Japan to my brother's place in US. It stays there. It's an off highway car. So it basically stays on the trailer. So I'm going to slowly start building that also, right? Put a case, start doing rallies and stuff like so. Because just before the lockdown, the previous year, I had gone to Canada and US to race, and the results were really, really good. So I was like, dude, why are we not exploring this side of the world as well? Like, I mean, why are we limiting ourselves to that part of the country or probably that corner of the world?
True.
So with few savings and stuff like that, I have. So then I've got that car there. I'm going to start building it. It'll also be on my YouTube channel somehow here, there, somewhere. It'll be some parts of it. So yeah, that is what I'm actually looking forward to now. Should be
that's a future endeavor.
Yes, that's going to be. Last year I had planned to do a full entire season of 6 races in US, but with all this, it's not going to happen. So like more time for me to work on it,
dude.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. You're here or there, wherever, it doesn't stop.